Each day I'm learning more and more. My first character doesn't have this kind of details. Thank you very much for all the people follow me. We need to continue working on our character. Know that these kind of sculptures needs time. Don't try to run and get the things quick as possible or quick as you want it. You know, these things needs time to see, analyze. We have to critical ourselves. We have to make tests or show to others this everything is working. You know, always is better get another point of view on your character, on your work art. For me, I think it's a good idea to improve every day. Well, I hope everything is working on the live. We don't have time to test, but I think everything runs pretty well. Okay, today I want to focus on specific details, the hairstyle, and how to make hairs on these 3D sculpts, and sometimes touch and other things, because this, as I told you before, this character needs multiple views and see again and again what happened. And it's my part of my workflow. You know, I'm working on some part and sometimes I zoom out and I see, okay, I need to fix this, because if not I will leave and I will forget or something like that. So I prefer continue working on some parts that need it at the moment, because this kind of school has life continuously, you know. But well, the main idea, focus on the hair style. Okay, for me, the first thing, the main thing, try to get a basic shape, as we have here. It's easy, just well, at this moment I have all these subtools attached. I'm going to separate and use just the hair. Okay, so go here, we move to over the subtool, go to polygroups. Remember that this polygroup palette control all the sets or settings that you want to change in order to create polygroups, to make the work easily to handle. You know, sometimes it's better just get multiple polygroups and work individually on each section. For me, it's better has many subtools, so I want to just separate this here in the polygroup palette. If we have, for example, just I'm going to click group visible, I will have just one color. What one color means, just one group. If I have multiple, or if I want multiple groups, I just click here in auto groups and I have multiple colors. If I want to just have two groups or two colors here, on this stage is easy. Just select one group, the big one, for example, or the group that you want to separate. In my case, I want to separate just the hair from these eyebrows and bald eyes. And I'm going to use the tool selection, Control Shift at the same time. Look that in the viewport, the cursor changed the shape to Control, say max, Control Shift. We can see this kind of dot lines and a lasso. And I'm going to select with a max, Control, drag, Control Shift again, click outside, repeat, Control Shift, click on the color. The other colors disappear, the other objects disappear. Control, drag outside the object. Now I have the max, Control Shift, now inside the color, outside here in the canvas. Now I want to Control F to, if you press, no Control, sorry, Shift F, you will see the wireframe and the color groups. Control Shift, you know. Now I see that we have one big section masking and the other not. Control Shift to see the difference. I'm going to move on this polygroup palette and create group maskets. I'm going to select group maskets here and group masket again. and Control drag outside. Now we have just two colors. Okay, this is one of the ways to create different polygroup. You can select just this and create group mask, and now you will have another polygroup there. Okay, you can also get group masked from Polypaint, but is maybe I want to show you in another opportunity to see this. Okay, because it's really interesting. Play with the groups. You can isolate areas, just painting in one color, isolate another area, painting with other, and get groups from Polypaint or from masking. It's cool. Okay. Now that I have this, I'm going to separate this using these split group tools. The split, you can see in the subtool palette below all the subtools, below duplicate and delete, you have this split. So group split, and say this is not an undouble operation. So that means that every time that you use this, you can go back. Okay, if you separate groups, you can go back to unified. You have to use merge if you want to get the objects collapsed or in the same subtool. You have to go merge again. So now, okay, and now I have two subtools here. For me, on this stage, if I want to get some kind of basic shape to start to do this haircut style, I use clay tubes because it's a nice brush to get some kind of sharpened lines. At the same time, more material on the surface. Look this, okay? I move really faster. In a lower resolution is okay, because on this way you can create this line that I want to use as reference to work after complete the basic haircut style that I want on the sculpt. Okay, just moving on lower resolution to get shapes faster. Remember that if you increase this, will be really difficult to delete or add shapes or move the geometry in an easy way, because once you added much to division or more resolution, you will increase the density of the mesh of the wireframe, wherever you want to go. Will become some a little bit hard to handle or sculpt or delete. Maybe I don't like this, so I can move really faster, working on lower resolutions. Okay. I don't want to create this part do not belong to the hair, sorry. And using another tool as Dan standard, I can create lines. Once I feel happy with the shape, I increase the resolution a little bit, as I have it here. We have too much resolution. Yeah, this is good. Let me turn off the color. Yeah, now look like an old guy with silver hair, but it's not the idea. Okay, just to see what happened with the sculpt. Sometimes it's important to have a nice material, because some other materials doesn't have a good light spot to get shadow, or a good light direction, for example, or some other don't have. So it's really difficult try to see, you know, what happened. Sometimes it's cool if you have some kind of this light direction, but at the same time we have a lot of shadow here and it's difficult to see what I'm doing. So it's better try to get or a matte cap gray I used to use. It's a nice matte cap, I consider, or this occlusion material that gave me more shadow deepness in every line that I'm doing. For that reason I like to work on that. I have an interesting material here that has nice light direction, like a light spot, nice specularity, nice shadow, but it's green, so I don't like work on green all the time, so I prefer this or this occluded material. Yeah. Well, on this step I just continue adding lines, moving my hands really faster to get this line on the hair, following directions and dynamism, you know. Because at the end, the idea on these new characters, let me show you something that I want to show you before. Look this, sometimes with some kind of tools, let me see how can I explain it. Duplicate. I want to increase the resolution here. Yeah. Oh well, I think that I have a nice. I'll increase the resolution a little bit more. Yeah, look these dots. Sometimes using the brushes, you will see this kind of problems. No problems. Things that you need to set. Okay, when you increase the resolution, you will have more density, and each behavior of the brush will be appear on the surface when this have more resolution. Okay, so my brush has now some kind of a space between my pad inside my pad, between each step of the pad. No, look this. This doesn't have it. Okay, it's because if you go here in the stroke menu, you can change these settings using the lazy mouse and reduce the lazy steps. I like to use 0.04. This will change the pressure, so you have to be careful and reduce the C intensity at the same time, but you will get a brush with a better resolution. For example, this brush, you can see the dots, one before the other, and now you will have a clean path, and you can change this as well. using the same thing. Stroke, lazy mouse step, this has 0.05. I will reduce to 0.0, almost nothing, and see the difference. But as I told you, you have to be careful with this intensity. I consider that for me it's easy to handle on this way, but it's better, I consider, get less lazy steps as possible on the brushes and reduce the C intensity to get clean paths, not these paths with dots. Sometimes if you have it, if you have some kind of brush that has these steps, you have to move here and change this. For example, if I move this into 2 or 3, you will see, well, I can. Oh, C intensity. This is the thing that I mean, you know, those are the steps. If I reduce the lazy steps inside my path, I will not see the difference. Let me increase the C intensity, stroke, and reduce to 0.04. But I need to reduce the C intensity to get more control of my paths. Okay, this is nice to have in mind, you know. Control the stroke, lazy mouse, lazy steps. The other tools on the stroke palette works, for example, if you want to get some kind of lag or delay between these steps, you can create straight lines because it's more easy controlling the direction of the motion on your hand. You will get more stability. Let me show you. Stroke and increase the lazy radius and increase the lazy smooth. Okay, lazy radius to 730. You can play with this. Look, this line is some kind of lag or delay, but you can control the motion. You have to move slowly. That will give you the opportunity to create this kind of ornaments or curvatures following a special path. To make straight lines is really cool. I consider it's different if you try to get or try to do a straight line without this. Reduce this to 0 and 1. If you move faster, okay, but you can see the difference. The line will have some curvature at the end or some kind of irregularity because this is more organic, the other is more as some kind of mechanic or artificial interpretation of your move in the software. Okay, because you have a delay, so this is create some kind of stability on the draw path. Okay, you will see in action. No problem. Well, let's see. Delete this. Okay, return to my haircut. Well, I want to create some kind of fancy Superman haircut style or a superhero haircut style. Let's see if I can get something like that. So I want that the hair has some motion or some kind of messy hair because he's fighting, you know. But well, these heroes sometimes has a beautiful haircut even if they are fighting with some kind of monster or So they never lose his fancy haircut style. I'm using these two brushes, the Deep Standard and Damp Standard brush, and these clay tubes to get more material on my surface. But this is not enough for the hair that I use to make. This is just to create a basic idea, okay? Because if you want some mess or some realism or a little bit of realism, you have to add more things that I will show you in the next minutes. For now, the first thing is get the basic shape of the hair on the head. Okay. Sometimes good has reference. Sorry if I can't show you some reference about the hair now. Maybe let's go here on the character. Yeah, it has this kind of, the original character is this. So let's try to get this old style haircut from the 80s. The manpower hairstyle. Manpower hairstyle. Now I need to start to add deepness. No more things that come out. Just I need to start to push lines. Creating quick movement with my hand and try to be close, or trying to draw the lines closer one to each other as possible. And that could be really difficult. Try to do hair, for example, when you create a hair for game character, that you create fibers, that you create really tiny tubes. It's not possible for the sculpting. Well, now on these days, you know, I know that maybe in the future we can see printers or printer machine that will print in a really small layers. Well, at the end you will get amazing details sculpts if we wait a couple years more. You can see now that these printers can get amazing prints surface with an amazing level of detail, and it's really cool. Well, these pieces at the end also have another process to get produced. So each time that first you have to print, then you have to sanding the surface, you have to clean, smooth. You will get lost, or you will lose details in each process of the production process on the sculpt pieces. But I know that in a near future you can just print the character even in colors and use this print just to print one by one or something like that, you know, without create mold or casting process that spend or waste more material, time, or something like that. I hope, yeah, in the near future you can see, as you have the digital file, you will print the thing that you see on the monitor. Even I mean, why not in your own home, you know? I don't know, thinking on this evolution of the production process using the printers, I consider that at the end, in the future, the boys or the guys just will need to buy the digital file, buy a printer and print all the things that they want to just getting from a website, the digital file or something like that, you know. I don't know what happened with the toys company, but it's something that will come. Well, for the artists, it's cool because you can continue create things and things on material to get printed or make real, you know. Well, I just continue here adding lines, following my first path for the hair that I create. Look that I'm not increasing the resolution. I just add in lines on the same resolution. Looks noisy, but you will see the difference once we start to increase the resolution. Sometimes I add lines, changing not pressure the material, just do an inverse process, not adding details, not extracting. I mean, adding material, not extracting or carving. And then I don't know how to say in English. If I'm doing an indentation or carving. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, I'm back. Well, let's get some disorder here in the hair. Oh, no, this character more close. He has a huge job, a huge shine. I need to saturate more this a little bit. Okay, sorry if I changed the path, but I don't want to lose the idea. Okay. Well, at the end, this add more tension, and it's cool. Yeah. Move on these accidents. it's an organic process to sculpt, you know. So let me save here the file. I don't know. My Zbrush is not working really well. I don't like to use now I use it and it's working. I don't like to use quick save because I work on a solid static disk on a as a hard drive, and I don't have enough space. If you use quick save, you have to have enough space to save this file. And when I'm working on projects, on huge projects, sometimes these projects has 1 GB, 2 GB, and I spend sometimes hours on this project. If I have quick save activated, imagine each 10-20 minutes before 2-3 hours you will have more than 40 GB on your drive, so it's not a good idea. And I for that reason I have to turn off this quick save here. Now I have activated because it's not a huge file for the moment, and now it's working. But when I don't know why, when I turn off this thing, my computer crashes sometimes, and it's really disappointing. Lose a lot of work, so I have to start to saving, or yeah, remember that each change needs to be saved. Just if this happens to you or some of you guys, or for another reason, just save every time that you consider is necessary, because lose work here is really awful, you know. Spend a lot of time doing something and just lose because the software decided to stop working. Well, I think that I have a nice starter here for the hair. And at the end, the schools depend on the final result. If you are, or the final scale, sorry, if you are working for miniatures, something like this, I think is okay. If you are working for 1/4 or 1/2, or 1/2 is 1/2 is too big pieces. The usual scales on the market are 1/4 scale, 1/6, and 1/10. 1/16 sometimes. That means that a body human scale will reduce 1/4 scale, for example, body human scale 1/1 will reduce the full size of that scale into 4 times. I mean, 1/4 scale means that you have to reduce 4 times a human body or a male body proportion, a scale, sorry. And it's huge, considering that you will have some kind of this piece. Maybe if I decided to produce in 1/4 scale, you will have with the cape standing up as I have it now, you will have a piece, I don't know, maybe 31 inches tall. So just the head will have 2 or 3.5 inches. You can add a considerable amount of detail on that if you will print this head into 3.5 inches. So for that reason, it's important. Think which is the final result of the sculpt that you are working. In a miniature work, for example, this kind of texture is okay. You can just increase one step the resolution. For miniatures, no more than 5 centimeters. Imagine this head just will have less than 5 millimeters. So it's enough details if you want a miniature. Just create the texture that emulate the hair motion, and it's okay. But this will not be a miniature. This will be a 1/4 scale sculpt when I imagine that. Okay. So now that I have this base motion, I'll reduce my pencil size. And I continue adding small details each time that I reduce or I increase the resolution. I have it's okay, I can increase a little bit more. 1 million polygons is reasonable. And now it's time to start the long time process. I think that we can finish all this hair today, because imagine I like to get these line motions by hand. So I'm going to show you on this. For example, here I'm going to use this lazy mouse, increase the lazy radius and lazy smooth a little bit, and now I can control the flow of the motion of my brush a little bit more. And reduce the lines, reduce the space of the lines that we made before to create more details and emulate this kind of hair. Yeah, I think that this line, this kind of details is enough. Just because try to imagine now on the production line, some other guys will receive this sculpt. Maybe we'll need to print this, need to paint these lines to get headline. So if you want to paint some kind of highlights on this surface, try to imagine paint line by line. Yes, all depend of the style of the production process, of the style of the pieces, but the machines can print a small detail as this one. The other thing is, okay, it's possible to casting, it's possible to sanding, it's possible to paint, so all depends the production process. You can add details. If you will use this just for example your portfolio or something like that, well, you can get crazy and create really small details. I need to hide this creature. And add more and more. I have to increase one step more on the resolution. Now I have 5 million polygons on my hair because I want sharpened lines and clear lines here. Okay. Let me save this. 45. Okay, let me work a little bit more on this front part because I can do all this detail on the whole hair. I just want to show you. In other video I will show you the final process, because I can spend, well, hours just adding details. Because my workflow, the way as I work is more organic things. And I can change this and increase this intensity, yeah, to get lines as this one. Okay, to get a really nice hair. And this is just, okay, follow some kind of flow or motion, reducing the side, use 3 different kind of size on the brush, clean the surface, draw again, yeah, to get an organic hair result. Clean the surface here, reduce. I think that more than or less than 1 is too much detail for our hair on a sculpt. But you can see that is necessary. For example, here my brush 1 is the minimum size, but if I want to add small lines between this, you can click on spacebar, use Shift, and click here word that appears on this window that say dynamics. You can turn off. Look, now it's white, now it's gray. When it's gray, when the dynamic brush is turned off, you can add small and small lines, because now depend the zoom that you use. The dynamic brush behavior is depend of wherever you are sculpting, the brush size never changes. If you turn off the dynamic brush, you will see that you can just using zoom get closer and get the smallest lines, because just depend of if you are close enough or you're far. Look, and you can play with more different size. Okay. Yes, you notice it. I enjoy to make this kind of hair process because flows for me. And another trick that I have, once I finalize it, or the whole scoop of this line of the hair, look that now you have small lines and sharper lines that looks really cool on at the distance. When I finalize all these texture lines that I apply to the hair, I use this tool, this deformation tool here, name Inflate. So go to the deformation palette. I'm going to max this because I don't want to increase the size of the whole piece, just as an example, okay? And I'm going to show you the eyebrows the same way. Okay, I'm going to masking this, and I will use this tool, Inflate, and just test the set. Okay, now it's 0. I'm going to apply, for example, 1, and it's too much. It depends on the scale of your scope. 0.2, it's okay. Yeah, and you can get rounder lines or rounder shapes. You will get less space between one and the other line, and also exaggerate the surface for print. This is some kind of trick that I have. I use at the end, okay. And sometimes I add small sharper lines, teeny sharper lines. this is the way that I get my hair. And if I want to even add more dynamism, I use another tool more here on the hairs. Okay, let me show you. Go to the brush palette and look for this wish. I think curve tooth. This curve tooth, and apply a curvature. Oh, composition has multiple levels. Okay, so move here. You need to duplicate and delete the lower resolution. Delete lower. Sometimes some brushes work on this way. You have to turn off the subdivision levels. This doesn't have subdivision level. This have it. Has it. Okay. But don't delete. Just leave below and turn off the display option, and go to the duplicate that we create. And now you can work, or you can apply the other brush. It's too big. I'm going to shade to the number 1. Let's see what happened. Yeah. Okay, now I create a new shape. I'm going to polygroups, group mask it, and separate, split. Okay, perfect. Let's move to our original, and I have a new shape. I'm going to reduce the tip. And now I use this to add more dynamism. Yeah, because you can move separated from the mesh that you're sculpting. And I duplicate this and just move one part here. Duplicate again, I move sort of part here, duplicate again, and I want to move here, not on the base. Shift to reduce the thickness, duplicate here, and play with move, duplicate, and move a little bit more. Yep, more hair. Okay, and you will create more style on the character. You can increase, you can inflate some areas. Look that I leave the tip attached. I just move the pad into the other section. I leave the tip attached. Sometimes it's impossible bring with many gaps, so you have to fill this gap, but you will still have the flow effect. Okay, and if I want to add other more, I use the same thing. Let me merge all this group. If not, I will result with thousands of clumps. Always. And to play a little bit, cheating a little bit, you can just select this tool, duplicate, and you can move a little bit backward, you know. I mean, it's the same group of lines, but I want to move here in the back, and using the move tool, you will change the shape, just moving. Yeah, and it's a good way to complete your whole hair. Just creating these groups and move across the whole head. Okay. You have these two ways to create a nice natural flow and hair effect. Okay. This is sculpting and adding this kind of clumps minorly, because you can control all these things. I prefer control the things minorly. Okay, this is just an example. Okay, and here, for example, I want to move to the other reference again. I want to move to curve tooth. Curve tooth. Click one. Here's my object. I want to separate. Blue. Okay. Turn off the duplicate. Turn off the duplicate. Turn on. And again, just using Shift tool for relax. Sometimes, if it's necessary, maxing, just max. And move tool to position. A clump. Okay, and in the same way, duplicate, move third part, duplicate, move a little bit below. Yeah, because in this way you can create intersection. That is cool. See this kind of intersection, because your hair always overlapping. No, and you will get more naturality on the scoop. always be careful to put these shapes closer one to each other. Or reducing the possibility of gaps or empty spaces, because it will be really complicated to print or produce. Okay. In this way, like your hair for my characters. Each day I'm learning more and more. My first character doesn't have this kind of details. My new character do. Sometimes I think that, okay, maybe I want to return to my old characters and improve, or just thinking, okay, create new characters to show what can I do. Okay. Well, this is a complex process. Try to imagine the whole head with this. Because it's quite a little bit impossible to finish in 2-hour sections. Sometimes I spend both days doing hair. If I feel boring, I just leave this and continue with other part of the body. Yeah, because sometimes you just feel boring to do the same. Okay, and it's the same way for the eyebrows. Let me try to show you before finish. Okay, it is the same. This is my basic shape. I use clay tubes to create the baselines. Following the direction of the inspiration to exaggerate this inspiration. I know that maybe the eyebrows has this kind of low duration one that comes below, and in the eyebrows in some point get closer one to each other in some kind of middle line. That imagine this. Okay, now we have the hairs or the clumps that comes below, and the lines that comes above, and create a path really quickly. Let me see how my resolution I have. I need to increase this. Control D, increase resolution. I'm going to reduce this. I don't have the lazy brush here because I'm working on short paths. Okay, the hair needed because you have to move in long paths here now because I'm working on short paths, so it's okay. Just apply this in this way with 2 brushes, standard and this. But yeah, try to keep the relation between the hair and the eyebrows. If you apply a small line, it will look different. That sometimes is possible. Okay. At the end is just an emulation, create effects, create some kind of texture, applying basic design concept, you know, textures, line, motion, balance. And following these basic things, you will get a nice surface sculpted. The same for the whole thing, the whole character. As you notice that I'm not doing something different, that just use the brush for sculpt, not another strange tool or a brush to create this, just handmade, you know, lines, then standard, deep standard, and standard brush. Sometimes maybe reference, yeah. Sometimes just use your memory. And basic concept, basic knowledge of design. Lines, flow, balance. Paths, texturing. Okay. Yeah, perfect. I think this, okay, this is enough. And again, if you want it, well, I always try to apply it. Apply the tool that I mentioned before, the formation, inflate 0.1, and I get more results. Oh. Try to get sharper lines too. Yeah, because the hair is really sharpened, you know. I mean, you have really tiny tips on your hair. and try to return to the middle line. Okay, I'm going to put this in colors. Color fill object. For this color fill object. Color fill object. Color fill object. Fill object, and this last one. Okay, well, I think that's it for today. Okay, guys, I hope this worked for you. Maybe try to apply it on your own schools. I know that this character is taking more time than I expected, but as I mentioned it at the beginning of this session, this kind of character is a school that needs time to complete. Okay, I'm trying to run, but I have a job, a family, and sometimes I just have time to work on this, just a couple hours. Okay, a day, or just on Saturday, just on sessions. Okay. But as well, I think that we are close to finalize more things. I consider that the next time I will show you the character with more details. I will show you how to get some kind of small details and texture and work on the base a little bit. Renders and suppose get the final image to show the piece. Okay, let's see what can I do, but I hope you like it. Okay, guys, well, see you on the next time. Have a great weekend. I hope you like it. I hope you can get some of this. It's my main thing. Okay, thank you for being here. I'm really happy with the character. Let's see what happens in the future, if we can see a nice piece finishes on these sessions. If not, I will show you the final process in some kind of extra video or something like that. Okay, thank you very much. Enjoy it. See you next time. Bye bye.